Hey guys, and welcome to a farming guide. So this is my full farm run guide, and it's not going to be like a guide for the entire skill. It's just my farm run that I do every so often, like every 4 hours, and it's roughly 20 minutes, and you can get roughly 85k experience and about 500 to 1 mil, 500k to 1 mil in terms of GP. So it really depends on your methods in this and your farming level in general. But overall, it's really awesome experience, really good money, and I enjoy doing them. So here is the guide. I'm just going to rush through this because there's a lot of items. First up, you should have a giant ent pouch, and I will explain that later, but I would definitely use that. Summon it before you start the run, and then fill that inventory space with super compost. And speaking of super compost, you won't have enough super compost in your inventory in terms of space for the entire run, so you're either going to have to bank for more later in the run, or just have a bunch of them in the leprechauns, and they can hold up to 255. So that's what I do. As for the teleport items that you're going to need, a witch doctor mask is pretty good to have. That is from the herblore habitat. I'm not going to explain how to get it because you can just look up a guide, and I'll probably make a guide on that later on. But if you don't have a witch doctor mask, if you've never done herblore habitat, another item that could be used instead is the Juju teleport spirit bags, and you can buy them in the GE. The second item for teleporting is the teleport crystal. You can get these from the elves in Lechia, or whatever you want to pronounce it, and it teleports you to Lechia, and that's for fruit trees. The third item for teleporting is the ectophile, and obviously a lot of people have this. This is from the Ghost Ahoy quest at Port Phasmatis, and it's for one of the herb patches, so definitely use that. Ring of Dueling, self-explanatory, and then these runes, there's a different way of doing these. This teleport. This teleport is the Trollheim patch teleport for lunars, and you get this from the Livid farm, and it takes like 30 hours to get it. So only use it if you have it. If you don't, then just use the 2 Fire 2 Law spell on the regular spellbook, and that can bring you to Trollheim. You're just gonna have to run a little bit longer though. As for the seeds you're gonna need for the entire run, 1 Morchella is gonna be good. 4 barberries, 5 dwarfweed seeds, 16 grapevine seeds, and blue blossoms. But as for the herb seeds, do whatever herb is your highest level, or whatever herb you want to do. The Morchellas, you're going to need, I think, 70 something farming. The barberries are 77 farming. The grapevines are 95 farming. So if you don't have 95, don't bring these grapevines, but they are very good profit. So if you do have 95, definitely bring them. The blue blossom seed is completely optional. I do it just for a little bit more experience and to collect the blue blossoms, which you use to pay for Yugun seeds, but I'm not going to get into that. As for the last 5 items, the 5 yew saplings, that is for the experience part of this run. If you don't want to spend money like completely and just want to make pure profit from farming, just don't bring these, and you'll get 35k less experience per run, but you'll save 300 something k. And then fill the rest of your inventory with super compost. And then if you wanted, you could bring a Calquat and its payment if it's your first run of the first 24 hours or whatever. But I'm not going to get into that. That's for a separate thing. And most people know how to do Calquats, so I'm not going to just explain it. But as for the equipment that you're going to need, the amulet doesn't matter. Don't worry about that. The farming outfit is for bonus experience. If you have that from Treasure Hunter, definitely use it. The comp cape has teleports, and you can also have these teleports on the Ardoin cloak, so definitely use that if you have it. The Explorer's Ring is for a teleport as well. The Green Fingers gives you more like harvesting, like gives you more crop when you harvest herbs and grapevines, so definitely buy that if you have extra points and you want to spend it. And then the last item is the Falador Shield, and it gives you bonus experience on the Falador patch. It's around 10%, so it's only for more experience, but it's good to have. So I recommend having this as a preset in your bank. Have it like this inventory, and then your equipment, and then you can just click that, and then you're ready for a farm run. So I know that was a lot of explaining, but I don't want constant questions in the comments like what item is this and blah blah blah. So let's go into the run itself. I'll meet you guys there. Alright, so for the farming part of the guide itself, like the run, I start out in Rimington, so use the Port Sarum Lodestone, run all the way west to the portal by Rimington, and use this Barberry patch if you have the 77 farming, but just try everything out if you have relatively high farming, like 80. And once you get that first patch out of the way, I just like to get that one out of the way first. Go to Lumbridge for your first yew tree. So it's north of the Lodestone, it's right there. Use the yew tree, and of course you can right click the tree to clear it. But yeah, clear each tree once you finish them, and then move on to the next patch. The next patch after the Lumbridge yew one is the Falador yew one. So go to the Falador Lodestone, run southeast to the Falador whatever it's called, park, and then of course plant your tree, and then move on to the next yew tree, which I go to Taverley. I just go in that kind of like that diagonal route from Lumbridge to Falador to Taverley, and then it's across the bridge in Taverley, and then, you know, do that tree. But on the way, there's also the Slayer Master, and if you're doing this and you know haven't done this in 24 hours, buy the 3,000 broad arrow heads, and I did do that in this video, but it's not every single run. That's only every 24 hours, and I do it in conjunction with my Calquats because they're each, you know, about 24 hours to do. So just do that. It's optional. But after the Taverley tree, go to Varrock and go southwest of the Varrock Lodestone, and you hit the second Barberry on my run. And remember, just by you watching this, this is just my path. There's probably, you know, there's infinite ways to do this farm run. There's, you know, infinite paths you could take. This is just my selected path, and I just prefer it. But after the second Barberry, go north. You could probably go back to the Lodestone again, and then go north into the heart of Varrock and go to the Varrock Castle, and you can hit your fourth yew tree. So get that one out of the way. So now you only have one more yew tree left. And if you have a Scroll of Life, remember you can get a lot of seeds back, including the yew tree seeds. I've gotten like 35 back since I started the 1,000 I've been doing. So it's really good to get that from Dungeoneering. If you don't have it, I would definitely recommend it. It does save you a lot of money. And if you chose to do a Calquat tree this run, bring your Calquat tree and your protection, which is 8 poison ivy berries or whatever. Grapes, I don't know what they're called. And then teleport to the Karumja Lodestone, run south, and then you'll be at the Calquat tree. So do that thing, and that's optional, of course. So I do that every 24 hours. So it's like every 2 or 3 of these runs, roughly. I don't play all the time, and each run is around 4 hours that you have to wait between each one, and you know they're 20 minutes. And after that yew tree, there's several ways you could approach the next part of the run. Like you could start doing your herbs, you could do blah blah blah. But my way of doing it, I usually use my Ring of Dueling, and I teleport to the mobilizing armies, and that way I can hit that spirit tree. And remember, the spirit trees, they require Tree Gnome Village quest, I believe. And then yeah, so you use that, and then you bring yourself to the number 7, which is Miscellanea, or Etcetera, or whatever you want to pronounce it, and go west, and you'll hit the Barberry. But another thing, you only can do that tree if you like grew a spirit tree in that patch from Miscellanea and stuff. If you don't have that, you're gonna have to bring a Ring of Wealth, teleport to Miscellanea, and then run across the island to that part. But that's only if you don't have the spirit tree like I do right there. If you don't, just plant it, wait 4 days, and it'll be good. And then after that, go back to the spirit tree, go to number 2, which is the Tree Gnome Stronghold. Go east, and that's your palm tree. That's your first palm tree you're gonna do, and this is where your giant ent comes in. This gives you 50% more, you know, coconuts or papayas, whatever you're growing. It does give you a lot more money, and remember, you can just grow your palm trees and whatever yourself and, you know, regrow them all the time for experience, but I don't, because it is relatively expensive, and I love collecting the coconuts because it's really good money. Each one is 4K, and you get roughly 8 to 12 per tree with the giant ent. So, you know, right there, that's a lot of money, and I have 23,000 coconuts, so that's just a little thing. You can make a lot of money here. But after that, go southwest, go to the last yew tree, plant it, and then there you go. You have all your yew trees done. But remember, yew trees are very optional. You don't really have to do them. They're just for extra experience. Now, once you're done with that patch, go north a little bit back to the spirit tree and hit number 1, which is the Tree Gnome Village, like the maze thing, and then run out from there to the exit or the entrance gate thing. Come out of there, and then right-click follow on Elkoi, or whatever you want to say, and he'll bring you outside of the maze, and then go a little bit southwest, and you'll hit another fruit tree. And the thing I do want to tell you is the fruit on each of the fruit trees, they regrow back every 3.5 to 4 hours. If you collect all 6 or whatever. But of course, you know, the giant ent gives you more than 6, but there's 6 actions you do on a tree each, and those grow back every 4 hours if you don't remove the tree. Remember, do not remove the tree if you're doing it for profit, but you know, you can just grow it yourself, like I said. So once you're finished with that fruit tree, teleport to the Alcarid Lodestone, and then come and collect your cactus spines. And remember, a lot of these things, if you've never done this run before, you're gonna have to plant them for the first time. So yeah, I forgot about that, but you're gonna have to, you know, plant your palm trees for the first time. You're gonna have to plant your cactus. So yeah, I'm sorry I didn't like include that in the inventory section, but hopefully you kind of got the gist of it, and maybe you already had it in the thing. So after that cactus thing, teleport to the monastery with your Ardoin cloak or comp cape or whatever you got, and do the last barberry of your run. It's right there, and then go east and use the fairy ring. It's like literally right east. Use that fairy ring. That requires fairy tail 2, I believe, or 3. It's 2, but 3 without the Draman staff, I guess. And then go in there and then teleport to Canifis, which is the CKS fairy ring, and that's where you do your Morcellas. And just a little thing, I'm getting 2 Morcellas per pick, and that's because I do have the elite tasks for Mauritania. A lot of these things, you know, I forget that you have to do certain things or you have requirements. It's because I've been comp for so long, it's kind of hard to remember these things. But a lot of these things you can increase with tasks and stuff like that. So go to Canifis, finish that patch, and then move on to the next one. So after I finish that Morcella, I start my herb run and teleport to the Trollheim area, you know, either the Lunars or the whatever other ones you have, like the normal Trollheim teleport, which that requires Edgar's Ruse or whatever you want to say, Edgar. It's a quest, and I think it requires like 61 herb lore, just as, you know, a reference. But yeah, I'm not going to show the path that you run because I don't use that anymore, I guess. I'm sorry, but you just run like off of the mountain to the west, and then you go in the cave, and then you run south, and then north again into a ladder. So that's just how you get there without the lunar spell. And then the next herb patch that I do, I use the Ectophile and I go to Port Matis, and then I run west. And remember, turn on your Juju farming potion, and then also turn on your Green Fingers aura. Obviously, they help with your herbs. Remember, you can note any crop at the Tool Leprechaun, so that is a good thing to remember. And then the next herb patch I do is the Ardoin farm one, and if you don't have the teleport for the cape or whatever, because I think it is 3 or higher, and it is only once per day unless you have the elite version, go to the Ardoin lodestone and then run east past the sheep, like, you know, bin, the sheep pen or whatever, and then you'll get there that way. The fourth patch for herbs, I go to the cabbage patch. So I teleport there with my Explorer's Ring. If you don't have that, just use a lodestone. Port Sarum or Draenor lodestones are probably the closest, but this is where your Falador shield comes in and you get the extra experience. So finish up that patch, and remember, you can always do the allotments if you wanted to in this run. I just think it adds too much time, and I don't really want to spend hours on this run. So for the final herb patch, you go to Catherby Lodestone, and then you run west, and it's right north of the bank or whatever. So it's right there. That's the final herb patch. And at this point, it's like the run's almost done, and I can relax and I can just start AFKing it. That's what I usually do. But after the herbs are done, remember, you don't have to bank everything because you have a lot of inventory space now. And just run east all the way to the White Wolf Mountain right at the entrance to it, or like the path right to get into it, and pick the coconuts and stuff or whatever from your fruit tree there, or grow your fruit tree, whatever you're doing. I go there next, and then I hit that, and then I come back to like the Catherby Bank, and then I make a detour onto the docks, and I sail to Brimhaven, and that's for the next fruit tree, so I hit that one. And then as for the next one, I do the Witch Doctor mask teleport, or, you know, the spirit bag, depending on what you're using. Teleport there, and then you're at the Juju place, and then jump over the vine, collect that fruit tree. Remember, that is the bonus fruit tree that came out the most recently, even though it is still pretty old. It's the most recent, so you might not have anything in there if you used to farm. But after that, I also do the blue vine blossom, and that's obviously completely optional. It's only for an extra experience, and for collecting the blossoms, I just do it. And then after that, you do your final fruit tree. To do that, you teleport to Lechia, and you teleport there with the teleport crystal that I explained in the inventory part of the guide. Finish that up at Lechia, and then you're basically done, except one last thing. Now go to the bank next to Lechia, and this is why I use Lechia last, is because there's a bank right there. It's a really good place to finish off, and now you only have grapevines. So let me explain. Go to the bank, bank everything, including your gear, bank everything. And by then, you'll probably still have your Green Fingers aura, which do work on grapevines, and it won't bank that, so just keep it there. And then what you do is you withdraw 20 regular planks. I forgot to mention you do need those, I'm sorry, but 20 regular planks is good. Withdraw the 16 grapevines that you had earlier. I guess you didn't really need it in your inventory the first time. It's just good for me to remember. Bring 1 super compost. You'll have to have more soon. Just have them in the 2 leprechauns, of course. And then for the final items, bring out your farming outfit for the bonus experience if you have it. Once you have everything geared, teleport to the Varrock lodestone and then run south and then a little bit east after the Champions Guild. So it's like a southeast kind of thing. And then you'll be at a hops patch. And if you've never planted there, just plant your super compost and then put your planks and then the vines. But just collect the grapes or whatever and keep on doing that. And the next patch is the Yanil patch or the Yanni patch. I don't know how you really say it. Once you're at the lodestone, run all the way east until you get to the one building in the middle north of the Magic Guild. And there's another hops patch right there. And after that, you teleport to Sears Village lodestone and go north. And then there's another hops patch right there. And this is why you banked everything. Teleport to the Port Sarum, lodestone, and yes, this is why you banked everything earlier, is because you have to go on in Trana for the last patch, and you can't have everything that you know, counts as gear. So that's why you banked everything, and the farming outfit and the crystal amulet do not count as for gear. So go on the ship. Remember to dismiss your giant ent if you have that still, and then go over the ship, and then once you're off of the ship, run a little bit, I believe, west, and then you can hit the last patch. And that's the final patch. So it's roughly 20 minutes, and it's probably longer in this video than 20 minutes, maybe shorter, I don't know, I kind of rushed it, but it doesn't seem like it's 20 minutes, but it is 20 minutes. And remember, it does make 500k to 1 mil, depending on your luck with herbs, and depending on if you even use yew trees or not, you know? Of course, you can upgrade things, like you can do magic trees, you can do growing your own palm trees if you want experience, but this is just my favorite farm run, and I have been doing this farm run every single day, most of the time, multiple times a day, for the past 6-7 months. So that's why I have such high farming, honestly, and I do have a lot of money from this. I have 23,000 coconuts, I have like 5,000 cactus spines, I have like 8,000 morchella mushrooms, and all of that together is like 200 something mil almost. It's like 160 mil, so it is a lot of money. I don't think it's 160 mil actually, I kind of overestimated, but it's a lot of money. Don't underestimate how much money you can actually make on this if you collect everything. And a lot of people have been using this method for a long time since I made the guide earlier, but that one was a lot simpler and I talked way too fast. I think I talked fast in this one, but it was more concise. And it was shorter than I thought it was going to be, so I know this might be a long guide, I know it was drawn out, but I don't know how you could speed this up. It is a long thing, and if you did watch the entire thing, I applaud you, because it was a lot of talking, and it was a lot of just guide, whatever, you know, stuff. So I hope it did help you guys out, and if you do want to farm, this is a good way to get into it. I know it's a lot of work, because 20 minutes for a farm run might seem like, oh my god, that's way too much, but you gotta see it at the bright side, you know, like it's 85k farming and roughly a mil profit in about 20 minutes. So if you, let's say, get 1 mil profit, that is 3 mil an hour for farming, and I think that is like spectacular. So I would not just you know, brush over this method thinking it's crap. It really is good money. So I think that concludes the farming guide. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned how to do this farming guide. And thanks to everyone who suggested this and who wanted this. So if you want me to make any other guides, just tell me in the comment. I definitely will make more guides in the future. It was pretty fun to make this one, and I know it was pretty long and drawn out, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. But either way, I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good day.